What is up guys, it's your boy Solheim here, back with another Classic WoW video for Mists of Pandaria Classic. Even though I don't really want to call it Classic anymore, I'm still very hyped for Mists of Pandaria, and today I want to talk about when is Mists of Pandaria Classic going to release. This is kind of going to be me speculating on the release date, and I really want to hear your thoughts on this, so let me know in the comments down below. Now, I know it's April 1st, and I should be doing something like I'm quitting forever. I'm quitting WoW, quitting YouTube, all of those typical April 1st thumbnails and titles, but I'm just going to use this time to talk about the release date of Mists of Pandaria Classic. Now, when it comes to Mists of Pandaria Classic, we don't really know that much just yet, but we do know a couple of things, so I kind of want to go over what we currently know, and then speculate based on that. So first of all, we have a kind of a release time frame when it comes to Mists of Pandaria, based on the announcements that Blizzard have made and the pre-purchases. So going over to Wowhead, we can take a look here. Mists of Pandaria Classic pre-patch is expected before July 31st and the full release before August 31st. Now this kind of comes when you're trying to pre-purchase the different packs that are available, right? They will tell you when certain things are available. So if you just go to those packs as well to see exactly what they're saying. So this right here is the description of one of the packs that you can buy for Mists of Pandaria Classic on Blizzard's own website, and over here, the first bullet point, Mists of Pandaria Classic launches on or before August 31st, 2025, and access is included with active subscription or game time. That is the first bullet point right here, which means that Mists of Pandaria Classic will launch before August 31st, or on August 31st as well. So basically by the end of August you will have Mists of Pandaria, but will we see it sooner? You also have further down here, blah blah blah, with the Mists of Pandaria Classic pre-patch launch, anticipated on or before July 31st. This to me kind of tells us that the pre-patch itself will be launching before the end of July, but even then it might launch in June, right? Just anything before the end of July, and same thing with the launch as well, anything before the end of August. Aside from that, the second thing we can look at is this roadmap right here for 2025, which kind of gives you an indication of what's coming out and when it's coming out. And what I want to drag your attention to here is the top line for Cataclysm and then Mists of Pandaria, compared to Classic WoW's 20th anniversary edition. Because so far, everything here has been pretty much to the point, where we got Firelands around the same time, we then got Hour of Twilight at the same time of Phase 1, or like in between Phase 1 and Phase 2, and if we look at this, the pre-patch should be coming out around the same time as Phase 4 in Anniversary WoW, and the actual launch should be coming out around the same time as Phase 5. So pre-patch, same time as Phase 4, and launch, same time as Phase 5. Now, based on that, I would say that the pre-patch is likely 2 months away from today's date, but it could be a little bit later, but like around that time, because Blackwing Lair just came out, and I'm guessing it's going to be at least 2 months between Phase 3 and Phase 4. In the anniversary servers, probably more like 2.5 months, maybe even 3, but I do believe that 3 months is going to be pushing it a little bit, but 2.5 could absolutely be doable. So in that case, we're 2.5 months away from the pre-patch, and then you have to wait a little bit more until the launch itself. So far, this roadmap has been pretty accurate when you compare all different versions of Classic WoW at the moment. Now, with that being said, there's one more thing you can do when it comes to anticipating when the launch is going to be, and that is, well, actually there's 2 things. We're going to go through number 1 first here, and that is finding out when Mists of Pandaria beta comes out, and then compare the Cataclysm Classic beta time or length, and basically get an estimated release date based on that, because we are getting really close now to Blizzard actually announcing Mists of Pandaria Classic beta, and when we get to the actual release date, or when we get the beta date, we will know a lot more about roughly when Mists of Pandaria actually ends up coming out. So going back to window here, this right here is Blizzard announcing Cataclysm Classic being in closed beta, so the first time they announced Cataclysm being in beta was on March 7th. And if we go over to Wowhead as well, this right here is when it launched, which was May 20th, which means 2.5 months. Or, yeah, roughly 2.5 months, pretty much exactly 2.5 months of beta development, and then it came out. Which, if we had to, like, give a guess here, I would say that when Mists of Pandaria Classic comes out, when the beta comes out, 2.5 months later, you will probably get a release date. Or, yeah, release date. Okay, so with all of that being said, we can also use some numbers here. So this right here is some pretty important numbers, and first we have the actual, like, Mists of Pandaria back in the day compared to now. So if we do some analysis here, we can see that between the 30% Dragon Soul nerf and the Mists of Pandaria pre-patch back in the days, there was 42 days of space, and then there was a 28-day long pre-patch before Mists of Pandaria came out. If we are to use the same numbers this time around as well, the 30% nerf in Dragon Soul will be happening on the May 27th, adding 42 days like of dead space between that and the pre-patch. The pre-patch then should come out on July 8th, and then 28 days between gives us a release date of August 5th. Now, I'm just gonna say that for Cataclysm, they have sped up pretty much every content phase, and going back in the past, like, Dragon Soul is usually like the biggest and most dragged out phase. It's like a big complaint people had was that Dragon Soul simply was too long. So if you ask me, I think they might shorten it down, the 42 days between the 30% nerf and the Mists of Pandaria actual pre-patch. And this would either give us a like earlier release date, or alternatively a longer pre-patch, because I believe that when it comes to the actual release date, August 5th actually sounds pretty plausible, because even though they could release it sooner, going back to past releases, Blizzard has pretty much never released an expansion in June or July. The one exception here, like if you look at all of these releases, the only expansion that came out in June or July, if we look here, was the Burning Crusade Classic, and if memory serves correctly, that one launched at literally the beginning of June. The absolute beginning, the 2nd of June or something like that. So in June and July, Blizzard pretty much never releases anything. So to me, like, based on that, I simply just don't believe they're going to release Mists of Pandaria Classic in June or July. And based on that, August 5th actually sounds plausible. But I also just don't believe there's going to be 42 days of dead space between the final Dragon Soul nerf and the pre-patch. So maybe we get a longer pre-patch. But once again, let me know what you think in the comments down below, because I would love to hear your guesses on this, and we will see who ends up being right. So once again, let me know your thoughts in the comments, both the release date and the pre-patch release date as well. Now, as we're getting to the end of the video, I just want to take a moment here to shout out my gold making guide, Mists of Pandaria. So for those of you who want to actually play Mists of Pandaria Classic and make gold in this expansion, this is probably the guide for you. This guide covers how to make gold by crafting, also how to farm for gold, some of the best gold farms in Mists of Pandaria Classic, and just overall teaches you more about making gold in Mists of Pandaria. And the reality is, most of this information is already out there somewhere, but what I'm offering is the ability to have everything in one place, as well as I'm going to give you guys exclusive videos and early access to content, so you simply get, well, once again, more content and earlier access to the content that will eventually go public. Right now, you will also get the Cataclysm Gold Guide for free when you buy the Mists of Pandaria one, actually giving you 2 guides for the price of 1, and you can check it out through the link down below. Either way, once again, let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like and subscribe for more content. As always, thank you for watching, I really appreciate it, and I'll see you again in the next video very soon.